What's up, guys? It's Parallax Abstraction, and welcome back to the PXA Peeks Canada Day Livestravaganza. So, we played Duskers before, which was pretty friggin' fantastic, and now we're jumping into something completely different. This is a game I've actually had code for a while, but I didn't get a chance to get to because I had to play it for a while to be able to form some impressions of it. So this is Pharaonic, which comes to us from Milkstone Studios, which is the developer behind Ziggurat, which is one of my favorite roguelikes of all time. Seriously, if you like roguelikes and you have not played Ziggurat, go buy it right now. You really should. It is such a damn good game. And this is their follow-up, which actually came out in early access, but which I didn't know about until... I didn't hear about it until it actually came out of early access. So it is in full release now. And so this game, well, it's Dark Souls, pretty much unapologetically so, but it's Dark Souls in 2D, and it plays kind of like someone took Dark Souls and mixed it with the original Prince of Persia, if you're an old person like me and can remember that kind of thing. This game is actually really cool, but it is brutal, and I'm bad at it, so pretty much exactly like Dark Souls. Now, interestingly enough, like, I don't mind the fact that all these Dark Souls-alikes are coming out, because Dark Souls, frankly, now is more of a genre than an individual series of games, if you ask me. And I like that everybody is taking some of the core tenets of Dark Souls and putting their own spin on it. This is not even the first 2D Dark Souls. There was actually another game that came out recently called Salt and Sanctuary by SCA Studios, which is another incredible developer. And that plays much more like a traditional Dark Souls game. It's got sort of the dark gothic imagery and things like that. This is very different in that it takes place in ancient Egypt, and as you can see, it has Milkstone's sort of trademark cartoony art style with it. It's very bright, it's very colorful, it looks really cool, I think, but definitely not the sort of dark, brooding sensibilities that you would get out of something like a Dark Souls. But it shares a lot of the same concepts. It's got loot, it's got persistent progression, it's got respawning enemies and bonfires. It will kick the living crap out of you and make you say you love it while it does it. And it has a lore behind it that it generally obfuscates and leaves you to figure out if you want to. So the idea behind this is that you wake up in prison, and there's an evil pharaoh in place right now who is very oppressive, you know, generally a really big tyrant, but he also there's apparently a big invasion coming from, like, I guess sea people or something like that, and he's doing a terrible job. He's basically not he's basically ignoring the threat, and this is a threat that could end their civilization. So they are, your goal is to try to overcome this guy, but eventually, I presume, to stop this invasion. I presume you'll have to deal with that later on. So we're actually in about the second area here, right now. The first area is the prison, which took me a couple of hours to break out of, because, as I said, this game is brutal. But it's brutal in the way that, that Dark Souls is. And people who like Dark Souls, I think, will find a lot to like about this. So also, yes, this game has quests in it. I actually haven't completed one yet, but you can see here there are quests you can pick up, and you will get, I presume, experience. I don't think I've finished one of these yet, but you can get experience and other things like that for... and items and things like that for completing it. This is one I swear I could complete, because this is a quest I got in the prison area. And I found the key to the jail, actually, but I can't find the guy that I'm supposed to free, so maybe we'll go back and check that. But you see, what's kind of interesting about this is that we have been playing on a 2D plane, but there are multiple directions you can go in. So you'll hit different points in the levels where you come up to something like this, where it says cross, and you can press that and you change direction. You stay on the 2D plane, but you switch direction and start going another way. And that's kind of how this mixes the levels up. It's not just straight left to right. And there are multiple paths you can go down. There are a number of different cross paths that you can take. You don't have to take them all. Some of them will lead you to treasures and other interesting things. Some of them will also lead you... This is something that I ran into just in this area for the first time, which is multi-enemy encounters. In the first area, you only ever have to deal with one enemy at a time. In this, you will have to deal with sometimes multiple enemies at once, and you'll get your ass beat like that. It gets really, really mean. And so what's interesting with this is when you enter a combat encounter, it sort of restricts your area to a sort of arena so that you can't just run away, which is different than Dark Souls, because in Dark Souls you could, in many cases, maybe not with bosses, but in other cases you could turn around and flee if you wanted to. You can't do that here. But what you can do is that even though you're on a 2D plane, you can do this. So when you try to dodge, you can actually dodge through people. Which, of course, doesn't make a lot of physical sense, but that's the sort of conceit they had, because obviously if you couldn't roll through people, the game could just back you into a corner and pretty much just screw you entirely, right? And that wouldn't be very fun. So you have a lot of the traditional mechanics of a Dark Souls in terms of combat, which is that you got your light swing, you got your heavy swing, you can hold your shield up if you have one, and you can parry. Like Dark Souls, you need to time your parries very carefully in order to actually get in order to stun the enemy so that you can do extra damage to them. Some enemies as well have shots that cannot be blocked. So you saw the guys there who had the sort of weapons that sort of lit up when they swung them. Well, that's what that is, and you have to dodge out of the way of those. You cannot block those. When you die, you drop what's called your memories, which is like that. Memories reclaimed. It's like experience, basically. This game doesn't have souls in the sense that souls are a currency in this. So you have your memories, which is more of an experience thing, because you do level up in this automatically. You don't go to a person and spend your souls in order to buy upgrades. You just upgrade automatically as you gain enough experience. But when you die, you'll lose the experience that you gained, I believe, since the last time you saved, which is prayed at an altar, which is the equivalent of a bonfire. So you have items here. You also have skills that you can train in that will give you basically better. Well, a lot of this is being able to wield things without penalties, as you can see. So there is weight in this, and the weight will bone you pretty hard. And this is actually what's screwing me up right now, because you see how you have what's called damage and stamina usage. So that's just that. You have stamina. Again, just like Dark Souls. You're going to hear me comparing this to Dark Souls constantly, because that's what this game really is. Like I said, unapologetically so. So you have health, you have stamina, which is impacted by the usage of the weapons and armor that you have, and you also have magic, which I don't have access to a lot of right now. But yeah, what you need here is the problem that I have. You also have a backpack, which is your B ability. So the Tablet of Blessings is the one thing I have picked up right now. So it doesn't really... So yeah, it helps increase your stamina, which is a good thing. I should be using that more often. And I have items here that require a higher level than I have available. So it plays much like a traditional RPG in that way. I think I'm going to put this Crown of Thorns on here so that it will help me lower my rating a little bit. So yeah, so you can walk back and forth between areas. As I understand it, there is an incentive to do that at points later in the game, to go back to previous areas to find things that you couldn't do before, or to do battles that you couldn't do before. They do have these things, which allow you to teleport between the different areas. So the sacrificial dungeons is where you start. I'm actually going to show you what this looks like. Also, load times on this, on PC at least, are just... It's super, super quick, which I really like. I want to say this game is out on the Xbox One as well, like Ziggurat was, or it's supposed to be at some point. Maybe it's not actually yet. So the loads are probably worse on there, but on PC, the loads are super, super quick. So we've largely cleared this area out, but as usual, also like Dark Souls, when you go to a shrine, all the enemies respawn. So even though I've cleared this area out in the past... Because I went and prayed at a shrine, the enemies come back. Everybody except the boss, of course. So you see here, I'm kind of boning up the timing. I want to show you what a parry looks like. But I'm doing it badly. Now, the thing is, the reason I kind of prefer to play Dark Souls games in co-op is just because I'm bad at them. There we go. And I get frustrated really easy. This is a game for the people who like the single player element of Dark Souls, because there is no co-op in this. There's no online play whatsoever. So you want to play this game, you're going to be playing it by yourself, and you should keep that in mind. If you are a person like me who likes to rely on summons in Dark Souls, then you're not going to have a good time here. Now, I'm enjoying this game enough that even though I don't have access to summons, I don't... Whoa, hi, how you doing? I don't really care all that much. I'm actually enjoying it a bit. Even though this game is still vicious, you know, this is not a game for people who want a cakewalk or just want to play a game to experience its story. This game hates you. But it wears that on its sleeve. Ah, yes, refill the canteen. Yes, please. Canteen, Estus Flask. That's your analog. Yeah, this game wants you to fail. I mean, there's achievements for dying a large number of times in this. Let me put it that way. So there's lots of different NPCs you can talk to. None of them are voiced. This is an indie game, so you know, they had to make some compromises somewhere. So the one thing I will say that I don't really like is the fact that the quests give you no real indication of where you need to go or what you need to do. Like, I have the one guy who said he needed me to get a key and free him in this dungeon. I got the key by killing the boss, which is the dungeon master, or the warden, I guess he's called. But the problem is, now that I have the key, I don't remember which of these guys in the cages wanted me to bring the key to him. It's only one specific person, and it gives you no indication of who it is. Like, here's the map. You can bring up the map. You can't navigate this map. It doesn't really tell you anything. Like, it gives you the sort of ideas of the past, but it doesn't even show you where on the map you are. So you're kind of like, well, where am I supposed to go and how am I supposed to do this? Now, I mean, the fact that you have a map is more than Dark Souls did. So this is one of the enemies. So it sees there some enemies' attacks can't be blocked. So this guy, when he does his thing, I have to do that. I have to dodge out of his way. But I didn't dodge soon enough, so he hit me. And he also had... And you see, I still have really lousy stamina, so, like, it only takes a couple... Damn it. Oh, yeah, there's traps, too. Of course there is. Yeah, so I didn't dodge in time because my stamina was too low. So I was able to dodge out of that, and here's a chest. So this is actually an area I haven't been to. Okay, Key of Keti's Cage. In order to learn a skill, you'll need a Shabti gem. I actually have a couple of those. So that seems to be generally what you get for completing quests, is those Shabti gems, which allow you to use skills. So actually, I should be looking into that. Because I have a feeling that the Shabti gem would help. So I did get the Warden's Key, but it looks like, based on what I picked up there, that actually was not the key I needed. It was the key... the key that I needed to pick up was the one I just got for that other guy. So here I basically unlocked a shortcut as well. So I've been this is actually right back at the beginning. And actually, here's the guy. So, okay, so it did sort of organically lead me that way. Okay. So yeah, I have, okay, so now I have the ability to learn. Because I have a Shabti gem, yeah, this is, so you have to have the gem and then you have to find the guy who's willing to teach you things. You get a stamina bonus when using weapons of a lower level. I believe what I have right now is a light weapon. So, you know what, let's back out first and see. So it doesn't say. You know what? I think I'm gonna... I wanted to use this weapon, and I couldn't because the stamina penalty was way too high. So you know what? I'm gonna learn heavy weapons. Oh, and I have 3 Shabti gems, so I can actually... Wow, I can actually get a huge amount of stuff from him here. I think that's a great shield that I have. But let's learn both shields. So that was, holy crap, that was actually really useful. This is actually probably going to make me way better in the new area. Also, because I have mastery, yeah, this is taking... all of these things are now taking way less stamina, which means I have just become a pretty big badass. Also, I can put on this headdress, which is going to give me some higher stuff. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, now I am a way bigger badass. So actually, we would probably do way better now if we went back to the other area. So this is basically the tutorial part that I'm in right now. That shortcut took me back to the other area. So yeah, this weapon is still really, really slow, but you can see it wrecks fools. So that's pretty great. You can pick up multiples of items as well, and you can actually use them to, you can sell the excess. And it's kind of nice when you go to a... when you go to a vendor, it will actually, there's a button you can press that will just sell duplicates only. So it will keep the main stuff on you, but it will sell your duplicates, which is really nice. I like that. So we're going to head back there now. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, I apologize if this looks framey. This game actually is a little framey, even when it's not recording. And it actually runs, crap, screwed that up. And it actually runs worse when I'm recording, so I'm hoping the frame rate holds up okay, but if it doesn't, I apologize. This is the same engine that powered Ziggurat, and actually Ziggurat ran really well, but this one has some issues. So yeah, when you, I believe I said already, when you die, you will lose any experience you picked up since you last saved. Man, my stamina's recharging so much quicker, but I died. And this will take me back to the last shrine I used, so it's going to take me back to the village to set MAAT. So we are actually going to teleport back there because I want those memories, and I want the, there is a shrine there too, but obviously we're not going to use that. I just want to come back here and deal with this. Now, this heavy weapon that I have is still, obviously, as you can tell, still a little bit cumbersome, but it does do some crazy damage, and it might actually be a good option for when I'm in those situations where I have to fight multiple dudes at once. Actually could be quite useful. So let's go back here. But yeah, you sort of get the idea here. Like I said, this game is unapologetically Dark Souls, but it kind of rips off the elements of Dark Souls that most people like, and it's clear the Milkstone guys, they didn't bite off more than they could chew. They knew what their limitations were, because they're a very small team. Extremely talented, but they are also... This is not the right door. They're extremely talented, but they are a very small team. And they understood that... Not only that they probably didn't have the capabilities to make a full-on 3D Dark Souls, but they probably didn't want to either. They wanted to do something different. Because that's the thing with a lot of their projects, right? Is they have done things that are very different. You know, they made Ziggurat, which is a roguelike in a lot of these sort of common ways that people would think, but it's also... It's very good because it focused on spell casting and arenas and other things like that that was a little bit different, but very well executed. And that's what this does. This is Dark Souls. If you don't like Dark Souls, you're not going to like this. This is a game made for people who like Dark Souls and have either finished all the current Dark Souls that are out there or want something a little different using that formula. Which is very much what Salt and Sanctuary was as well. You know, Salt and Sanctuary said pretty much outright, we know we're Dark Souls, we know what we are. I'm sure these guys do too. But they executed it really well, you know, taking the Dark Souls formula and modernizing it into something like the old school Prince of Persia, which probably a lot of the players of this game won't have any connection to, but I certainly do. you can see the DNA of that original Prince of Persia in there. And Prince of Persia, that's a game I'll have to do a retro flashback of someday, because Prince of Persia was very much ahead of its time in many ways. Am I going the right way here? I think I am. I recognize this guy. Prince of Persia was very much ahead of its time in terms of yeah, I am. Okay, I'm going it's back this way. Prince of Persia was very much ahead of its time in terms of animation and controls and fluidity. The controls were a little cumbersome and weird by today's standards, but at the time it was considered revolutionary. And like I said, you could see a lot of that DNA in this game, most definitely. And I think it's pretty awesome what they've done here. They've combined two well-established formulas, but done it in a fascinating way that's really, really compelling. Like, this is a game I could see myself working on trying to finish. It might take me a long time because I'm bad at this type of thing, but oh, you little bugger. The heavier weapons also are easier for enemies to dodge, as you can see. Yeah, screw you, son. Where are my memories at? Oh, are they over there? And you see, the levels, much like Dark Souls, the levels are very much living, breathing worlds, right? Like, my memories are over there. See in the right? But you can actually see them there because the enemies over there, the background's there. Like, this whole level, or at least a large chunk of it, is running, even though I'm not on that plane. Like, I haven't been over there yet. But the level is running and living and breathing in that area. I think that's amazing. The Milkstone guys actually, you know, even though it's a little bit framey, their engine is and their tech is actually quite impressive. What they've been able to put together, and you can see some of what's, by looking in the background, even though it's a little lower level of detail and sort of blurred out, you can look at that and sort of see what's coming and be like, hey, you know, there's something there, and there's something I need to pay attention to there. And I think that's really, really cool. How do I get over there? I'm trying to remember where the cross point is. Oh, yes. There we go. So this was the first multi-enemy area I encountered, but it's multi-enemy in the sense that it just threw multiple enemies at you in a progression. It was a challenge scenario. When you get that little sort of thing over your head, that's what it means. But the worst part was in the town area is that it sends multiple enemies at you simultaneously, which is where things get really rough. Though I have a feeling I might be able to actually handle that now, which will be really nice. So I don't know how to get to my memories. I don't remember what I did to get over there. That's kind of a oh no. Oh, there they are right there. Yeah, because you sort of circle around, right? Nah, boy. Screw you. Alright. Oh, you want to taunt me on, do you? Yeah, you really want to do that? See, what's nice here is that I'm still running out my stamina quickly, but it's recharging very, very quickly as well. So that's actually handy. Alright, so we've taken these guys out. So let's go back to the village and we'll continue on from there. I did want to be able to show you guys a boss, but like I said, you can't replay old bosses, which is kind of a bummer. But it's kind of what you think it is. The boss was a really big guy who could do a lot of damage. He could basically kill you in 2 hits, and you had to dodge him for the most part. And you were in that sort of small arena area as well. So that's what makes this quite a bit different than something like a Dark Souls, is that you have constraints. You know, you're not allowed to, you can't really take advantage of verticality. You can't take advantage of a wide open 3D space in which you have to dodge guys. You have the ability to dodge guys in a sort of circular pattern. You only have left to right. That's the only way in which, and you can dodge through guys, but nonetheless, you only have really 2 planes on which you're fighting. And I kind of like that because it not only simplifies the formula, but it mixes things up, right? It changes the way the things work, and it doesn't necessarily make it less difficult. In fact, this is not the right way either. In fact, it most certainly doesn't make things less difficult. I mean, this game is still very, very tough because they knew how to design around the mechanics they had while still keeping things challenging. But it's a very different way of thinking about the formula, and it's a very mechanically different way to play it, which I find quite fascinating. This is... I'm glad to get the extra experience, but this is actually not where I wanted to be. I want to find my tablet and get out of here. I will say it's very easy to get lost in this game. In the Dark Souls areas, you didn't have a map, but you had enough, the areas all looked unique enough that it wasn't difficult to get your bearings visually, to have an idea where you had to go and be like, oh yeah, I know this way leads to this, and it's this route, and etc., etc. This doesn't do that. These areas, they look a little bit different, and there are different enemies that you'll encounter, but each of the screens and different planes that you'll go into pretty much looks the same. They're all very much based off the level template, or the tile set that they were using for a given level. So I find it's much easier to get lost in here. Here we go. So we're going to go back to set MAAT, and then I'm going to go save, because I actually made some decent progress there. And then maybe we'll come down and try one of those multi-enemy encounters. But because you can go back and forth to different areas, again, like Dark Souls, there are areas in a level that you maybe won't be able to pass at one point, or that will be just too difficult for you, or things like that. And you're encouraged to use those teleportation shrines to move back and forth between the different areas and clear out and make progress where you couldn't before. Of course, as well, like you're seeing here, when you use a shrine, all the enemies come back. There's no, Dark Souls had a narrative reason for why that's the case. This, at least at this point, doesn't give any conceit towards that. It's just like, no, that's how this works. You know that. So they're not really trying to narratively justify every mechanical idea they have. They're just like, nah, sometimes this is just, enemies respawn because of course they do. Like, shut up. And that's fine. I have nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, it's an interesting mechanic, and if you wanted to do something in the vein of Dark Souls, then you really need a mechanic like that. That's kind of a core tenet of the series, right? Let's see if we can pull this off now. See if I can get the little enemies quick enough. Ooh, I leveled. Sweet. You level very, very rarely in this game. In Dark Souls, you could actually level pretty frequently if you knew what you were doing. In this game, no, you don't level frequently in this game at all. So you have to really, cherish your upgrades and use them to the fullest. It forces you to think about them. Oh, shit, there's a fourth guy! Oh! Okay, maybe I'm still not ready for that. Woo! Like I said, brutal. This game will kick the living crap out of you. Now, I don't know how many areas are in this. I don't know how long this is. If you're one of those exceptionally good Savant-level Souls players, I don't know. Like, even if you're really good at Dark Souls, it can take you between 15 and 20 hours to get through one of those games. Way longer if you're terrible at them like I am. I'm going to throw out a guess that this is not super long. Just because it's a smaller indie game, my guess is that it is not super long. So probably only a few hours, but that's okay. It's also a lot cheaper. So, there's definitely nothing wrong with that. But I find this compelling as someone who does enjoy and really respect the Dark Souls games, but really only when I'm able to play them in co-op. This is a game that you can only play solo, and it's oh, there's a whole other plane here. I haven't been here yet. That is the way to the oasis, but don't bother, I tried. The sea people have blocked the road. Another route? I reckon you could try the detour through the Valley of Kings. Too dangerous for my taste. Medjay patrols as well as things. Creatures only Anubis should deal with. So, all right. So we might see a different kind of enemy. That looks like a trap. Yep. And that's a bridge that I don't have access to. Wow, those are really tough to dodge. All right. Well, we're gonna take this and we're gonna go use the thing. Let's go see what's down here. Oops. I want to see. All I've run into so far is other human enemies. I would really like to see what some of the other potentially otherworldly enemies in this look like. Nope. Too soon, Junior. But you can see here, I find the look of this game really striking. Like I like. Oh crap. Like, I like the Souls games, and I love their dark aesthetic, but I also do like things that pop and are colorful and like I said, that look a little different than what you would expect. And they went for that here. It's not a this is a game that deals with very dark subject matter, but it is not a dark game. It is a bright. Oh, another one of you. Oh, God, two more of you. Oh, God. Okay, well, you know what? As long as I'm not dealing with those guys who I can't dodge, I think I can take you out. Also, I have the same problem I always have in Dark Souls, which is that I don't use my shield enough, and I don't parry enough, because I just suck at parrying. It's really key in this game, though, especially when you have heavy... nice. Especially when you have heavy weapons like this. Now, I'm not sure if those multi-enemy encounters respawn as well. I have a feeling they might not. I could be wrong about that, though. Okay, so these are only slightly less defense, but way less weight. So that's a good idea. So we're going to do that. So that's what was up that way, I guess. All right, let's keep going. So yeah, I mean, you can tell very early on just from watching me play this what this game is, and I think it. Oh no, not you! Not you. But I really like this, and I could see myself picking away at this game over the course of the year. Like, I probably can't play it for very long because I'll just get stressed out and frustrated. But it does what it's trying to do very well. You know, if there's one thing I've learned about Milkstone, it's that these guys are very good at taking a genre and some ideas that someone else has already established and spinning them in a way that makes it feel refreshing and unique. And I've always loved that about them. Ziggurat was absolutely that. You know, Ziggurat took the roguelike formula, which is very well worn, and changed it in a way that made it basically my favorite roguelike. And, you know, I'm picky about my roguelikes, but there's also a sea of good ones out there, ones that I have enjoyed, and Ziggurat is the one that stood out the most. And this really feels like they did that same level of polished innovation with the Dark Souls formula. Oh, we're not done yet. Also, you can go into the menu in this game and it pauses, which... yeah, that is a very different thing from Dark Souls. You pick up loot mid-combat and want to equip it, you can do that, and it's not going to hold that against you. So, purists of that formula would probably go, well, that's not right. And yeah, there's some matter of personal taste there, I suppose. Word! 2 multi-encounters in the same life. Oh, I'm happy about that. Oh, and you know what? That was one of the early multi-encounters that I was having trouble with before, so I'm back at the start, and guess what? Yoink! Oh, yeah, these upgrades I did made a big difference. So, now, this is a good way, though, for us to actually see if those enemies come back. So, we'll see here. But yeah, if you're into Dark Souls games and you have played, if you're like my buddy Keymaster and you have played through Dark Soul, you know, all of the Dark Souls a billion times over to the point where you've basically seen everything. Okay, so the multi-enemy encounters, oh, they do respawn. Okay. So they do respawn, but I'm going to guess you probably don't get the fancy loot for beating them a second time, though you probably do get the experience. So yeah, if you're like Keymaster here, who has played through Dark Souls ad infinitum +1, then you may very well like this. The formula is unmistakable, but it does really cool things with it. That has frankly really impressed me. And as I said, as someone who is not a dark soloist, did you get it? As someone who is not into that normally, I could see myself pecking away at this and getting my way through it, because it has really impressed me. You know, Milkstone did what Milkstone does. I don't think this game has sold as well compared to Ziggurat. Ziggurat was kind of a breakout hit for them. It kind of feels like this game has not done very well, because honestly, it was in early access for a while, and it like I had no idea it even existed until they put up the announcement that I think I saw on Twitter or something that was like, "Hey, this is out now," and I was like, "Oh, okay." But I really like it. I think it's really cool, and man, the Milkstone crew, for such a small crew of people, they got game. Like they are a really talented group of guys. You know, the fact that you can go from making a magic-based roguelike to making a Dark Souls clone in 2D, which are two very, very different things, and do such a good job. And do such a good job with both. Bunch of rags. That's what you made me go through that for? F you, man. I don't know how to roll through those properly. Clearly I'm timing it wrong. It's a real testament to the talent of that team that they were able to do things. I'm gonna have to go through that really tough encounter, I think, that I can't handle very well. I'm gonna go back to the shrine first, and then we're gonna try that out. It's a real testament to the quality of that team that they were able to do such a good job with two very different kinds of games. There are not a lot of indie devs with that kind of clout out there, frankly. There are more than a few who think they have that kind of clout and are not at all that good at it. These guys, from everything I've read about them, these guys seem like a very humble team. They frankly have the talent to brag, but they don't really. But that said, if you don't like the Dark Souls, if you don't like super hard games, this will not sell you on it. It's a different application of the same formula, and if it's a formula you don't like, you definitely won't like this either. No, not gonna do that. But these guys knew what they were making. They knew what they wanted to make, and they knew it wasn't going to be for everyone. I mean, Ziggurat's not for everyone either, right? They had an audience that they were aiming for. Oh, F you, that didn't hit me. 3 at once? Really? Come on. Oh, this is not good at all. Shield deck. This is what I do when I play Dark Souls as well, is I tend to just swear at the enemies repeatedly. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Let me recharge. Oh, I hit you. F you. Okay, that guy's down. Oh, I leveled again. I leveled again? Holy crap, that was quick. These encounters clearly yield some big rewards. Again, I really need to learn to pace myself and to use my damn shield. If I would just do that, I would probably be doing much better. Oh god, and you have to fight 2 more beyond that? Oh boy. So yeah, as you can see, does not fuck around. Oh, come on, I can do this. No! All right. We're going to finish this up by me getting that battle, because I was so close. You saw it. Now, I leveled up, I believe... Yeah, they'll let you level automatically, I think. So when you say teleporting Keymaster, now I watched some coverage of Salt and Sanctuary when it came out on the PS4, but I haven't really paid much attention to it since then. So when you say teleporting, now you can teleport between areas in this, obviously, with those tablets, but can you, like, teleport in Salt and Sanctuary as in, like, teleport on screen? Like, within a battle encounter? Because I didn't know that about it. Okay, well, I got my memories back. Oh, and I dodged twice. Oh, yes. Wow, I did all right there. Nope. There's also iframes in this, of course, like Dark Souls. So you saw there that guy was stabbing me, but because I dodged out of the way in time, it didn't count. So if you time your dodges right, all about timing. You know, just like the Souls game, it's all about timing. Damn it. Yes. Okay. Yes. So there is that in this game. You do not teleport from the bonfires or from these shrines. But there are little tablet things. You may have not seen the early part of the video. I actually did teleport back to an early area. There are these sort of stone tablet things that you unlock separate from the shrines that you can teleport between. So it's not linear. You actually are able to go back and forth, and you're actually encouraged to in order to beat either encounters or other things like that in previous levels that you couldn't do. That might have been too tough for you early on. So there is teleporting, and it is in the interests of grinding out progression. So there is that. You know, like Dark Souls as well, obviously, you don't level in this by spending memories or souls or anything like that. The leveling up is automatic. You level up by killing a certain number of enemies, and the stats level up automatically. So that is a very key difference, is that you don't earn sort of a currency that you spend to level up. But what is nice, though, is you do still have the means to grind out experience. So, you know, I killed a bunch of these guys before, got a bunch of experience from doing so, and I'm killing them again and getting more experience. So you are able to redo areas at least to a certain point in order to level yourself up, so if you feel like you're just stuck and you don't have the means to get forward with what you have, you can spend a little bit of time just refighting some dudes, especially in these challenge scenarios, and be able to level up as you want. God, you little bastard. Come here. Okay, I was gonna say please not another big guy, but right, it doesn't do that. It's just two small guys, which in their own way are their own problems. I really just need to get better at parrying, honestly. Like that's always been my Achilles heel in these games, is that I'm bad at parrying. Yeah, you're right. There was a lot more. I mean, there is there we go. Sweet. There is platforming in Dark Souls, but not really to the degree you're talking about. Yeah, you're right. Salt and Sanctuary was much more of a platformer, which makes sense because Ska Studios is a rusty helmet. Really? That's what you gave me? Ooh. However, it's way less weight. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, actually. Actually, that helmet looks kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, the SCA Studios are very much a platformer developer, right? So that kind of makes sense. All right. Well, we'll do another little bit of exploration there, and then I think I'll call it for this. I mean, I've done quite a bit here. It's especially if you played Dark Souls before, you're obviously able to look at this and go, well, duh, I know what this is right away. I actually really like this. I really love the Milkstone Studios work. I really want to see them succeed. At least from the data that I've seen, it doesn't look like this game has necessarily been setting the world on fire for them. Oh yeah, there's a merchant up here, by the way. I think I'm going to sell out a bunch of my crap. Yeah, we'll sell that. So you see here, if you go into your light armor, so you see here, you can just go sell duplicates, which is pretty handy, just for clearing out junk really quick. It's kind of a handy thing. Doesn't seem to be an inventory limit. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it seems like there isn't an inventory limit. Oh wow! You know what? I'm gonna switch my shield. Excuse me a moment, ma'am. Because this has only 10% less damage block, but 20% swiftness, which is actually a pretty big deal. So let's... sell that for some good money. So let's see what she has. Ring of 2J. I don't know what that is, but it looks interesting. Yes, let's equip it. So you see here, you get sort of a very quick comparison of the stuff that you have. So here's an interesting one. This is the Medjay Spear, which actually has a way longer reach. Doesn't do that much less damage, but uses way less stamina. So you know what? I think I'm actually going to try that, because that looks like it could be really useful. These don't really look worth it. No, most of the rest of this stuff is not really worth it. But this spear could be very fascinating. Let's try this. I really like the idea of having this kind of range. Now, I'm trying to remember where it is I have to go, is the only thing. I don't really know how to get out of here. So here's the little tablet things, Keymaster. So you can use these and go to previous areas. The Sacrificial Dungeons is the only place I've been to. That's the starting area. Yeah, this thing is really slow, but oh, look at that range. Like, I can hit her when she can't even get to me. Yeah, I like that. I like it. I still don't know how to bring down that bridge, though. I don't know how to get to the Valley of Kings, either. Like, I'm in MAAT, but... Yeah, I thought I did recognize a couple of sounds from Ziggurat in here, and yeah, you're right, it does make sense. I don't really fault them for that. As long as they're appropriate and they don't sound out, you know, as long as they don't sound out of place, I'm not really bothered by that. But yeah, you're right. They did reuse a few sounds from Ziggurat. But, have I not been up? I think I might not have been up this way. Wow, this is a multi-person normal encounter. Oh, you tried to roll up on me and I friggin' stabbed you on your way. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I killed that guy behind him. Oh, I like this weapon. I like it a lot. Oh, yeah. No, this is another area. Okay, here we go. It's loading. So this is the Valley of Kings. It looks inviting. And I unlocked an achievement for getting here. Oh, how you doing? What the hell are you? I am Tor, 3rd Glory of Ammon Division 6 Battalion. Under Grand Vizier Saurus. I use the name Saurus for characters a lot. That's hilarious. But Saurus actually was an ancient thing. Another quest? Yeah. So, like I said, the quests in this are weird because you're given really no guidance or explanation as to where anything is. You'll just hopefully find things where you can and then remember where the quest giver was. That I'm not so big a fan of. I wish it could at least give you a, like, even just put an icon over the head of people who are, you know, quest givers or something like that, so you just know from a distance where to go rather than have to go and try to talk to every person. Because this isn't like Dark Souls where if you're not interested in what the person's saying, you can just walk away. That's kind of a bummer. Yeah, she's like, well, I can buy it, you know, you can buy the map, except you saw how friggin' useless the maps were, so... Not really ideal, you know? But I think I've given you guys... Oh, and there's the teleporter I can activate, too. Sweet. But yeah, in case you guys can't tell, Hi! You guys just come out of the ground. You're also really big and mean looking. And you wreck my stamina and everything else. Well, just when I thought this game was maybe cutting me a bit of a break, it's like, nah, eat the pain. So it's Dark Souls in that regard. But yeah, in case you can't tell, I think this is really good. I think Milkstone hit it out of the park again. I think these guys are mad talented. And frankly, like I said, I don't like the idea of calling this a Dark Souls ripoff the same way I don't like the idea of people who call, you know, who used to call first-person shooters Doom clones or open world games Grand Theft Auto clones. Dark Souls was a powerful enough game that it really created its own genre, and that's really what that's really more what I think this is a genre. Sorry, I'm just going here to get you the price because I always, as I always do, I screw this up and don't get the price. Okay, so it's approximately $15 Canadian. So based on that, this is probably about $12 US. That's a very reasonable price for this game. This game would easily be worth 20 or possibly even 30, depending how much you're into this. So I think that's a really good deal for a really good game. If you like Dark Souls at all and you're not averse to playing that in 2D, get this. You know, as a person who only likes to play Dark Souls co-op, I'm probably going to finish this because it's actually been that compelling to me. So that should say something. So yeah, that is Pharaonic, or Pharaonic. I don't know how you pronounce it. I think it's Pharaonic. Developed and published by Milkstone Studios for the PC in 2016. I'm going to quickly check here as well just to see if it's on other platforms. I know Ziggurat came to the Xbox One. I would think there's no reason this couldn't come to everything, really. But yeah. If you guys are interested in this, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is a, oh no, just PC, Mac, and Linux. It's not on consoles right now. Interesting, surprising. But yeah, if you guys, it also says PlayStation 4, so I guess maybe that's not out yet. But anyway, if you do want to pick this up on the PC yourself, you can actually buy a Steam key from Green Man Gaming. If you go to gmg.pxa.ca and buy it through that, a tiny little piece of your purchase goes to help support my channel, which I would appreciate very much. And you can usually get stuff on deals there. And as usual, if you liked what you saw here, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. That does help me out a great deal. But this is really cool, and I'm enjoying it. So, yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and, well, I will... Oh, God. I don't know why the sound cut out here, but I'm getting myself beat on. But, yeah, I will see you guys next time. Take it easy, everybody.